Hey, shalom, 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 shalom. This is your brother Shamwala Kassad back again. You know what I'm saying? As you see now, I'm camming up, just trying to do something different. I'm still experimenting with things. So, please bear with me, but this live is going to be a very interesting live, one that you do not want to miss. You understand what I'm saying? So, listen, it's going to be some heavy stuff, some Bible prophecy, about to come to pass. It goes to show that we really at the end of this thing, man. You know what I'm saying? We're really, really at the end of this thing. You know what I'm saying? So, um, you blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, you are the children of Israel, and the Most High called you to repent and it called you to be holy. You understand what I'm saying? And listen, it's about to get bad out here. The life as we once know it is, it's about to be over. You know, as far as like the money system, as far as using the greenbacks, the hard paper dollar, slowly but surely, it's about to get phased out, and a whole new system. It's about to start phasing in. So if you in the chat, just give a like, share, subscribe. Again, I'm testing this thing out. You know what I'm saying? You see the ticker at the bottom. If you like the ministry, if you what I'm saying, you want to like the content, you want to share and help out, it's Cash App at the bottom. Again, this is just testing it out. The camera, the positioning at my home and stuff like that. And, just want to see how everything turns out. But yeah, man, listen, this topic now. Just want to say shalom, shalom. Just want to give all thanks to the Abnao Yahweh, Ba'ashem Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Today is Monday, April 10th. And, right now, let's do this topic about this thing called Fed Now. You know what I'm saying? This new money system that coincidentally just started, not started, but because when you read when you read it online on when it actually, became a thing or became ready, it was like a month ago. But it didn't really get announced until the founder of Cash App somehow died last week. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Sorry, give me 1 minute. Let's talk about this. All right, now this is from the federalreserve.gov. It's a government website, and this is a press release from March 15th. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you guys could see the whole thing. Hold up. Let me just give me 1 minute. If you guys could see, let me know. All right. All right. Yeah. All right. This should be better. March 15th, 2023. Federal Reserve announces July launch for the Fed Now service. And it released 5 p.m. March 15th. So that was almost a month ago. Chicago. The Federal Reserve announced that the Fed Now service will start operating in July, that's this year, and provide details on preparations for launch. The first week of April, the Federal Reserve will begin the formal certification of participants for launch of the service. Early adopters will compete for customer testing and certification program. So like I guess those who like I guess sign up to test out the program, they're gonna get a customer tester testing and certifying, you know, I guess they're gonna go through like a program where they'll be like, okay, you're now certified to test this thing out. Informed by feedback from the FedNow pilot program to prepare for sending live transactions to the system. So yeah, they need, I mean, lack of better word, they need crash test dummies to try the program out, I guess, to find out the kinks, good, bad, in between, so they could tweak it before they roll it out to the general public. But look at that. Pay attention. The first week of April. When exactly did the founder of Cash App died? I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. When exactly was it? Ben Lee? Sorry, not Ben. I forgot his name. Bob Lee. You know when exactly he died? I'm just saying. Certification encompasses a comprehensive testing curriculum with defined expectations for the operational readiness and network experience. So yeah, they need someone to to get certified so that they'll try it out, to find out the kinks, to make sure the network is stable, so on and so forth. In June, the Federal Reserve and certified participants will conduct production validation activities to confirm readiness for the July launch. You know what I'm saying? So in June, the Fed Reserve and the people who they pick, that's when they really gonna start, getting things done. So I guess April this month, I guess the quote unquote early adopters, they'll have to complete some training program to be certified to use it. And June is when they actually do the field test before rolling out in July. We couldn't be more excited for the forthcoming FedNow launch. Will enable every participating financial institution, the smallest to the largest, and from all comers of the country, to offer a modern instant payment solution. So said Ken Montgomery, first vice president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston and FedNow program executive. So basically, long story short, they're basically trying to, be the next Cash App, or at least overtake Cash App as the number one financial institution as far as money transfers. You know what I'm saying? Again, you know, it popped up. I mean, yeah, it was certified. I mean, yeah, it was coming down the pike all along, but coincidentally, the first week when they start picking folks to test this thing out, this dude just miraculously, gets deleted. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Might be something with it, and might be something more into it, or it might be just a coincidence. With the launch drawing near, we urge financial institutions and their industry partners to move full steam ahead with preparations to join the FedNow service. So they basically telling you, man, and they're not even asking you. If you're a financial institution, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, TD Bank, they're not even asking you. They telling you like, yo, you need to get on this program right now. You know what I'm saying? Or ASAP. You know what I'm saying? Why they asking to do that? You'll find out later. Many early adopters had declared their intent to begin using the service in July, including a diverse mix of financial institutions of all sizes, the largest processors, and the U.S. Treasury. So it's getting to the point where even the U.S. Treasury is about to get a part of it. Again, listen, man, it could be something normal, or it could be the setup for something sinister to come down the pike. You know what I'm saying? What's your guess? And in addition to preparation early adoptions for the July launch, the Federal Reserve continues to engage in a range of financial institutions and service providers to complete the testing and certification program and implement the service throughout 2023 and beyond. So they ready to go full steal with this thing. Montgomery noted that availability of the service is just the beginning, and growing the network of participation financial institutions will be key to increasing the availability of instant payments for consumers and businesses across the country. The FedNow service will launch a robust set of core clearing and settlement functionality and value added features. More features and enhancements will be added in the future to, to continue supporting safety, resilience, and innovation of industry and the FedNow network expand in the coming years. So I guess they're gonna start off doing the basic stuff and eventually they're gonna add more features to it. But again, all this sounds good, but what is gonna mean for us in the long run? With the FedNow service, the Federal Reserve is creating a leading edge payments system that is resilient, adaptive, and accessible, said Tom Barkin, president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond and FedNow program executive sponsor. So now you see this Tom Barkin gentleman, he's a bigwig, president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond, and one of the executive sponsors of the FedNow program. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Listen, this program, listen, man, it's gonna be. I'm gonna say it like this: it's gonna be no way to hide. Once this program really kicks off, the launch reflects an important milestone in the journey to help financial institutions serve customer needs for instant payments to better support nearly every aspect of our economy. And said about the FedNow service. The Federal Reserve banks are developing FedNow service to facilitate nationwide use of instant payments services by financial institutions, regardless of size or geographical locations. Around the clock, every day of the year, through financial institutions participating in FedNow service, business and individuals will be able to send and receive instant payments at any time of day, and the recipients will have full access to funds immediately, giving them greater flexibility to manage their money and make time sensitive payments. Access will be provided through the Federal Reserve Fedline network. So now the government got their own network where they're going to allow all this thing to go down at, which serve more than 10,000 financial institutions directly or through their agents. For more information, visit FedNow Explode. There's a website. Now, listen, all that sounds good. All that sounds gravy. You know what I'm saying? It seems like, brother Nakam God, Shalom, Shalom. Hope you're still in the chat. Let me know if you guys can still hear me and sound off. Let me know what you think so far about this upcoming program. Because yeah, it sounds like, it's a better version of Cash App, funded by the government. Hey, it's cool. Everybody wins. But is it going to stop there or is it going to be more to it? Me personally speaking, I'm just going to say, I personally believe that once that gets in, listen, man, it's you want to talk about the government being your business, they really going to be in your business to make it clear that it's going to be very impossible to hide from them in anything. You understand? Brother Nakon God said, audio good, gone throughout. All praises to the Most High. And yeah, I agree. It's not a coincidence that he died. You know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to have a short format video that's supposed to be coming out later this week, you know, where I go through it. And, you know, me personally, again, like I said, I believe that his death wasn't a coincidence. You know what I'm saying? And again, just as soon as, you know, he gets deleted, like the same week of his death, it gets announced, this this Fed Now program. Yes, the program was federally announced the month before, you know, on the Federal Reserve website. But maybe it's just me. None of us, or most of us, hadn't heard about this program until after this dude died. And now this program is coming out. You know, it's something to think about. All right, so next here, moving on. I'm gonna do this. This video that I saw this morning of this, I guess I want to say he's an Edomite, but basically he's a Gentile. You know what I'm saying? And that basically he did a breakdown on this thing, and that it was a very, it was a very informative. Sorry, he did a breakdown of this thing, and that, oh crap. All right, give me 1 minute. Okay. All right, he did a breakdown of this Fed Now program, and he really goes into it, and that he really lets you know certain things that, might not, something you might be cool with, other things you might not. You know what I'm saying? Let this commercial play out, and then after that, I'll just, okay. All right. Give me 1 minute. Billy, why are you flying? All right, you guys can see the screen. You know what I'm saying? This is the gentleman, Andrei Jikh. You know what I'm saying? Andrei Jikh, and he does a breakdown on this whole thing, and I'm gonna play the video and I'm gonna talk on it. So before I do it, I'm gonna say fair use, fair use. Wait, hold up. Wait, okay. Wait, you guys can hear it? Hold up. Uh-oh. Wait. Hold up. Okay, sorry. Let's play that from the beginning, from the top.
The Chinese last month unveiled the world's first digital currency from a major power. Currency that would not be printed, but would exist only in cyberspace on your phone, for example. Is the Fed working on a digital dollar?
We are actually evaluating that. Most major countries are now looking at the possibility of having a digital currency and really asking the question.
Imagine a government that creates money that has an expiration date. And if you don't use it, it'll disappear. That's how.
Whoa. Now see, this part I didn't hear. Money with an expiration date. You know what I'm saying? When in the history of time have you ever heard about that? Money with an expiration date. All right, let's continue.
Happening already with the digital yuan, and Americans are rightfully skeptical.
President Biden issued an executive order to explore the creation of a U.S. central bank digital currency, effectively converting the dollar into a centralized digital currency.
The Federal Reserve just announced that it's about to show us its new digital payment system this year in July. This is having a huge ripple effect across the entire internet because the US dollar is in the process of being replaced by a central bank digital currency, or a CBDC. In fact, most countries around the world are creating their own right now.
What if I told
Yes, and he's absolutely right. Most of the countries around the world are busy building their own version of like the digital dollar. China is one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go through my archives, one of the videos that I did back in 2020, 2021 was that China was testing out their own version of digital currency or crypto. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that the US was like, you know, they knew about it and was finding ways to keep up with them. So I guess they finally found a way with this new FedCap program. But, you know, let's see what this program is going to entail.
you 90% now of the world's central banks say they're investigating central bank digital coins?
According to a report by Citi, by 2030, there will be up to 5 trillion digital dollars circulating the global economy. But there's a problem because most Americans don't trust the government to do this. In the 19...
And of course, they'll be well within their right to do that, especially us Israelites, you know, especially knowing our history with this country, knowing our history and the relationship, you know, from when we first got here, or for the Northern Kingdom that's been here, for when the European settlers first got here and, you know, started massacring them and all that. Listen, the relationship has always been bad. So we've been well within our right not to trust them. But hear that, it said 5 trillion of that CBDC, that form of currency is going to be circulating in the next, about to be 7 years, because they really pushing for this thing. But let's see what it entails.
50s, for example, the era that was called the golden age of capitalism, when we had unprecedented economic growth and higher wages, a point in history far from perfect. But in 1958, Pew Research asked the American people if they trusted the US government to do what was in their best.
Wait, let's run that back. I'm sorry.
In the 1950s, for example, the era that was called the golden age of capitalism, when we had unprecedented economic growth and higher wages, a point in history far from perfect. But in 1958, Pew Research asked the American people if they trusted the US government to do what was in their best interest. And they did. That trust reached a peak of 77% by 1964. But over time, that trust has been gradually eroding, and today, that number has dropped all the way to 20. Only 1 out of 5 Americans.
Jeez, that see how steep that drop is, because at that time, you know, we seen how downright, you know, grimy
Americans trust the government to do this. And it's also why people like to use other forms of money like cash and even cryptocurrency. But right now, the government has their own idea for a CBDC, central bank digital currency. And this will have a huge consequence, not only on ideas like privacy, freedom, but even Bitcoin.
A lot of people don't know this, but if you have the YouTube app on your phone, you could be using it to make up to $10,000 a month, thanks to a new loophole that exists.
So in today's video, I want to help explain exactly what this is, how this might work, and how this will ultimately affect us. So with that said, let's get right into it. Hi, my name is Andrei.
All right, this is where it gets deep.
Hope you do.
This is where it gets deep, y'all. Pay attention. This is where you're gonna learn some really not so savory things about this so-called FedNow program. Let's go.
Doing well, come for the finance and stay for the new Fed payment system and CBDCs. Now, the two are somewhat connected, but
Hey, hold up.
So with that said, let's get right into it. Hi, my name is Andrei Jikh. Hope you're doing well. Come for the finance and stay for the new Fed payment system and CBDCs. Now, the two are somewhat connected, but they're not the same, even though people are confusing them as one.
It's a whole new system that's faster and better than traditional banking. You can go to a grocery store and buy a few items with your hard-earned money, and then you present your Fed card with a trusty Federal Reserve representative, and they'll say, oh, yeah, you're too fat, so you can't buy any of these things. The end.
Yeah, so that's not at all how it works. Here's
And I agree. I believe that was a stretch. I don't think the government will really do that. I mean, China probably would, because remember, in a lot of them Asian countries, like they really frown upon folks being obese. So maybe somewhere like China, North Korea, maybe South Korea, maybe Japan will be on that type of time. But the US, I doubt that. Hold on. All right, let's continue.
Here's how it actually works. This new payment system will make it so that businesses and yeah, so that's not at all how it works. Here's how it actually works. This new payment system will make it so that businesses and people will be able to send and receive instant payments 24 hours a day and 7 days a week, and that's because funds will settle between banks in real time and will only just take seconds. Here's a couple examples of how this will be used in practice. Let's say you're a coffee shop owner and you needed a quick delivery of some coffee beans. Once you got a request of payment from your supplier, you would pay through a participating bank like your credit union, and the coffee bean supplier would instantly receive your payment. On the back end of things, your credit union would send an ISO 20022, which is a digital form to the FedNow service, which would validate it and send a message to the coffee beans bank. That receiving bank would then confirm in real time that it could receive the payment, and the FedNow service would then debit and credit the money and then send a message to both banks that the settlement was completed. Now, that whole process, which sounds insanely complicated, would happen pretty much instantaneously. But the system we have right now just takes a lot more banks, time, and a lot more money. And this service will eventually apply for things like bill pay.
So it's basically like another form of, again, like Cash App. You know what I'm saying? Cash App, electronic transfer, you get the money instantly and stuff like that. Like your Cash App, like when you're sending money to somebody, you pretty much get the bread like it's instantly. You understand what I'm saying? Or if you're trying to like pull money from your bank to load on to your Cash App account and stuff like that, it happens like kind of like instantly. Like as long as your bank account has the funds to pull, it'll happen instantly. So it's basically like this, but they're trying to take it to another level.
Sounds insanely complicated, would happen pretty much instantaneously. But the system we have right now just takes a lot more banks, time, and a lot more money. And this service will eventually apply for things like bill pay and for sending money from one account to another. This will be super helpful if, for example, you have a utility bill that's due on that same day and you want to pay it right away without paying late penalty fees. Now, eventually the Fed will want us to use it for peer-to-peer transactions so we can send money to each other in the same way that we use Venmo or Apple Pay. For now, though, this service will only be made available to people within the United States, so you won't be able to send money instantaneously overseas. Now, this will be rolled out in phases starting in July, but already in the first week of April, they're giving out formal certifications for their, quote, participants. So that is the FedNow payment system, which is tied to the CBDC, the central bank digital.
So basically, they want people to sign on to be crash test dummies to try out their program. You understand what I'm saying? So that's basically what he's saying here. And again, I'm gonna be the first to say this. I'm calling it now. How much you want to bet? It might be optional now, but after a while, they're gonna make it mandatory, or they're gonna put it in a way where, if you don't have it or you're not participating in the program, it's gonna be hard for you to maneuver. How much you want to bet?
Currency. So let me explain what that is. But first, a quick word from today's sponsor. Inflation and the declining economy are extremely stressful, especially for families. In 2021, when an investment fraud was committed, the average left amount was $70,811. That's why it's so important to protect yourself online, and why I'm so excited about today's sponsor, Aura. Aura protects you and your assets by keeping.
Let me skip past this. This is the doing a commercial for identity theft.
Thank you, Aura, for sponsoring this portion of the video. And now let's get back to it. Right now, we're seeing the creation of these central bank digital currencies happening all over the world. 11 countries have already launched their own digital currency, including the Bahamas with their sand dollar, Jamaica, and Nigeria. 18 countries are in the testing phase. 32 countries are developing their own right now. 39 are trying to figure it all out and researching. Only 15 are inactive and 2 are canceled. But all in all, 114 countries representing 95% of the world's GDP are in some way involved with this process, including the US. Now, the obvious
I see that. You run that back again.
This process, including the US.
114 countries representing over 95% of the global GDP are exploring CBDC. In May 2020, that was 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago, only 35 countries were considering a CBDC, which is a central bank digitalized currency. A new high of 60 countries are in an advanced phase of exploration, development, pilot, or launch. So pretty much it's going to be the whole world that's trusting out this whole digital dollar thing. You know what I'm saying? Which means that it's going to be very easy wherever you at around the world to track you. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, again, like I said before, Big Brother is going to be watching you OD. It's going to be watching you heavy. Let's continue.
Now, the obvious question is, why is the Federal Reserve so focused on digitizing dollars if the dollar is already digital and it's already on our phone? The answer is, there's a huge difference between true digital currency and the system we have today, because our current monetary system relies more on digital claims of currency. This is why when we use banks and we transfer from one account to another, or we use apps like Zelle and Venmo and Apple Pay, we're actually sending digital IOUs and digital claims to money, but not necessarily the money itself. And that's why banks need to use third-party banks to verify transactions to make sure that the money we are sending exists there in the first place. And a true digital currency would be true value transferred from A to B without the use of a bunch of third-party banks. All of this is starting to sound kind of like the things crypto is already trying to solve, except there's a couple huge differences. CBDC.
But he's right. It's basically a cryptocurrency thing. You know what I'm saying? If you have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Stellar Lumens, XRP, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? You might want to hold on to them. You know what I'm saying? I know that the crypto economy is doing bad right now. It was doing bad for the past year and a half or so, but you might want to hold on to them because, listen, as you can see, all these countries, especially the US, is taking the dollar digital. You know what I'm saying? Just saying, hold on to your coins if you got them.
CBDCs are controlled through a private network by the government, so they're not decentralized. And that gives the government full control over its supply and how quickly they can move it from point A to point B. And with that, there's a lot of pros and a lot of cons. Now, there's a ton of opinions on this subject, so I'm going to save mine toward the end of the video if you want to see that. But if the government creates their own CBDC, here's what that would allow them to do that's good and not so good. A central bank digital currency would give the Fed direct control over the supply of money, which is actually good, because right now they already do this with something called quantitative easing. We saw this during the pandemic when they flooded the economy with money by buying mortgage-backed securities and treasury bonds. But it can also shrink the supply of money through quantitative tightening, which is the same process but in reverse, by selling off their assets, which is what they're doing now, with the exception of this anomaly, which represents all of those failed bank bailouts. The point is this: our financial system is so complicated that it almost works like a Rube Goldberg machine, if you've ever seen those. So think of this new central bank digital currency system as financial enslavement, but with less steps.
He's absolutely right. It is financial enslavement. He is exactly right, but not for the reasons that he's saying, but for another reason altogether, which was us who understand the scriptures. We know, we definitely need to know. I'm going to say it like that. Let's continue.
If I disappear, it was not by magic. Another benefit is speed. Because money will be programmable, it would hypothetically stabilize the value of the dollar, and it would modernize the banks. It would also make sending money and stimulus by the government much faster, and in theory lower the cost of banking because it would force the banks to compete with the Fed to make transfers and even ATM machines much cheaper. A CBDC would also have.
Now see that's how they reel you in. They reel you into, oh, you get your money faster. Like if the government sending stimmy, you get it faster. Or if you let's say your tax refund. You know, you owe your refund, you get it back faster. You know what I'm saying? You need someone to send somebody money in a pinch instead of using Western Union. You know what I'm saying? You know, or CashApp. You know, well, CashApp is just as fast, but they say that they're supposed to be like lightning fast, where you know is even faster. But again, that's how they reel you in. But once they reel you in, you know that's when they got you, and that's where you're gonna find out a lot of nastiness, a lot of nasty surprise that this program has that a lot of y'all ain't ready for. Let's continue.
Help with tax revenues because most people wouldn't have to file their taxes. Instead, the government would know exactly how much money we've made, so they would send us an invoice and we would just have to pay. So it sounds.
Oh, run that back. Hold up. Did you guys catch that? Did you guys catch that? Did you guys catch that? Let me play it again.
Even ATM machines much cheaper. A CBDC would also help with tax revenues because most people wouldn't have to file their taxes. Instead, the government would know exactly how much money we've made, so they would send us an invoice and we would just have to pay. So it sounds like a lot of really great benefits, but unfortunately, there's a lot of downsides and a lot of risks.
So what?
And see, that's the thing. Now they're saying that with this whole CBDC thing, oh, you don't got to file your taxes. The IRS already know how much you make, and they're going to send you an invoice. Now, see, that's problem number one. They're going to know how much you make. They're going to know all your bread. And guess what? Remember a couple years ago when they was trying to when it was trying to say, how can I say this? Well, last year or the year before, when they want to make when they wanted to make it mandatory, where if you received $600 or more through CashApp, PayPal, or whatever, that was taxable income too. Oh yeah, with this Fed Cap program, oh yeah, they got your ass. Ain't nowhere to hide with that. Ain't nowhere to hide with that. So guess what? A lot of you chicks out there that you got dudes sending you bread, oh yeah, can't hide no more. You can't hide no more. And you want what this also means? You brothers out here that might, you know, have side jobs or odd jobs where, you know, you working under the table or you work off the books. You know what I'm saying? You got side hustle, you know, okay, I'm gonna paint somebody garage, you know, I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying, put down the tiles in somebody's floor, or you know what I'm saying, or paint somebody's house, you know, for a quick $20. If they use that program, guess what? You know what I'm saying? You stuck. Because that means that, guess what? The government's going to see that income tax time. They're going to factor that plus all your other side jobs into taxable income. So, yeah, side jobs, dead. You know what I'm saying? Nowhere to hide. Working on the books, dead. A lot of you ladies out there, you know what I'm saying? You know, which is off, by the way. You know, you out there stripping, or, you know, you turning tricks, and, you know, you on the corner. Guess what? If you dealing with that, guess what? Gone. The government now knows how much you make. You know what I'm saying? You know, which again, like I said, I don't condone that. Any ladies doing that, y'all need to repent. But now that's the first thing. Now the government knows how much you make. Ain't no need to file no more taxes. Like, nah, don't worry, I got you. I got you. You know what I'm saying? So let's continue.
What the central bank digital currency is all about is surveilling Americans and controlling behavior of Americans. And how do we know? Because we've seen this happen in other parts of the world.
People are calling the concept.
And he's right. Because not only with this whole Fed cap thing, not only they can see your transactions, now they know what you're, what exactly you're buying. You know what I'm saying? So like, like perfect example, this whole thing with the gun debate. A lot of these a lot of these politicians, they move in to make the ARs illegal. First it's going to be the ARs, then it's going to be, I guess, regular shotguns and long rifles, and they're going to go all the way down to the handguns. You know what I'm saying? So now they're going to make it for those of you brothers and sisters in states that allow you to legally strap up, and you pass all the background checks and stuff, and allow you to legally, purchase handguns and long guns and stuff to strap up. Now, with this Fed cap thing, now the government can see, brother Nahum just bought an AR-15 last week. Okay, let's make note of that. Oh, brother Yawashot bought a Sig Sauer. You know what I'm saying? It's all surveillance. It's all surveillance. You know what I'm saying? And it's getting to a point where you cannot hide from nothing from the government. You know what I'm saying? So let me run that part back again.
Really great benefits, but unfortunately, there's a lot of downsides and a lot of risks.
So what the central bank digital currency is
also help with tax revenues, because most people wouldn't have to file their taxes. Instead, the government would know exactly how much money we've made, so they would send us an invoice and we would just have to pay. So,
and again, how exactly would they know how much money you exactly made for the year? Because again, they gonna do everything. The eventual goal is to phase everything through that. Even from your job pay you through that. And any side hustles you do, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna have it where, like, okay, you help somebody move, and they, they throw you $100 on the side, you know what I'm saying, for helping them to move. Guess what? Now, with CashApp, you know what I'm saying, you'd have been under the radar. Now, once this Fed cap thing comes into effect, you can't hide that. Now the government knows how much you do that. So let's say your moving rate is, like within the same city, like $100. You know what I'm saying? Or $100. If you help 6 people move, guess what? You're now at the limit where the IRS could tax you. Or that little $600 you made helping them people move. Guess what? Yeah, you owe taxes on that. Now the government wants they cut. Say, man, this is real sinister.
So it sounds like a lot of really great benefits, but unfortunately, there's a lot of downsides and a lot of risks.
So what the central bank digital currency is all about is surveilling Americans and controlling behavior of Americans. And how do we know? Because we've seen this happen in other parts of the world.
People are calling the concept of CBDCs as Big Brother's digital dollar. And it makes sense why people are skeptical, because...
Which it is. Listen, trust and believe, it is.
CBDCs will be tied to your unique digital ID that'll be used to build your social proof, which all sounds exactly...
Whoa. A unique digital ID. Now, what could it be? Because unless it's like a number, so that might be one of the things. The first thing they might have you do, the first thing they might do with that program is everyone's now one big number. You know what I'm saying? Like for those who might have loved ones that might be locked up, or actually might have been locked up themselves. You know what I'm saying? And you were in a prison jumper, and all you're known by is a number. You know what I'm saying? He's either saying that this program either gonna, use that to identify you, or my idea, what just popped in my mind is, What's the number one thing that everyone has that's unique to them? Give up? A fingerprint. Everybody's fingerprint is unique. No two persons on the planet had the same fingerprint. And remember, on the phone, on a lot of these modern phones, a lot of folks, myself included, use your fingerprint to log in to certain apps, including banking apps. So they might go the extra mile and use that. Or you want to send $200 to your sister? Okay, use your thumbprint. Or you want to use this program? Okay, register your thumbprint. So now we know who you are. So now you can't hide from us. See what I'm saying? It's very sinister. And again, first it starts with a thumbprint. What you think the eventual goal is going to be? Let's continue.
Exactly like the next plot of a Black Mirror episode. If the government wanted, they could freeze will be tied to your
behavior of
because this is the real whammy right here. Watch.
Americans. And how do we know? Because we've seen this happen in other parts of the world.
People are calling the concept of CBDCs as Big Brother's digital dollar. And it makes sense why people are skeptical, because CBDCs will be tied to your unique digital ID that'll be used to build your social proof. Which all sounds exactly like the next plot of...
Wait, hold the phone. Wait, hold up. Now, see, there's something that he just kind of just ran right past
to your unique digital ID that'll be used to build your social proof.
Damn, you see that?
Which all sounds exactly like the next plot of that'll be
sorry.
used to build your social proof.
You see that? What's that right there? Those two words. Social credit, and I guess it's supposed to be system. So now it's going to be like China, the social credit score. If you do certain things, you speak out against the government or just tyranny or anything like that, guess what? Now they can freeze your bread. Now they can freeze your assets. Huh? But for those of you who have been following current events, remember that whole that trucker protest last year in Canada? You know what I'm saying? What did Justin Trudeau did? He freezed a lot of the truckers' accounts and even freeze the accounts of the people that was given to them, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that was donating money to the truckers to make sure that they was good. It's coming to America. Tell you, man, the Israelites, we've been warning you guys about this for years. Let's continue.
Which all sounds exactly like the next plot of a Black Mirror episode. If the government wanted, they could freeze your assets, and if they don't like what you're spending, with the flick of a switch, your bank account now shows zero.
Mr. President.
Whoa. Hold the phone. Run that back again. You guys hear this shit? Do you guys hear this?
To your unique digital ID that'll be used to build your social proof. Which all sounds exactly like the next plot of a Black Mirror episode. If the government wanted, they could freeze your assets, and if they don't like what you're spending, with the flick of a switch, your bank account now shows zero.
Mr. President.
Which kind of did happen with the whole trucker protests in Canada, where the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau pretty much freeze all the truckers and freeze all the Canadian citizens that was giving to the truckers to make sure they was good. They froze all their accounts. So basically, you know, in essence, it did happen. But now it's coming to the States, and it's going to happen on an even bigger protest, on an even bigger scale. So now you say the wrong thing, you speak out against the trans gentleman agenda. You know what I'm saying? You might get your account froze. You know what I'm saying? You might speak out against feminism, you might get your account froze. This is where we're headed, man. You know, they're slowly but surely they're slowly but surely curtailing you to try to steer you into, you know what I'm saying, into groupthink, into the one world government. into the, you know what I'm saying, to follow the government, regardless of, whatever their agenda is. And that if you dare to buck up, guess what? Off goes your money. Now, this is a little cartoon skit. Let's see what it says right here.
The Blemflark's value just...
Hold up. Let me see. Hold up.
They could freeze your assets, and if they don't like what you're spending, with the flick of a switch, your bank account now shows zero.
Mr. President, the Blemflark's value just dropped to nothing.
What do you mean?
I mean, our single centralized galactic currency just went from being worth 1 of itself to 0 of itself.
Oh, dear God, no. Calm down, people. Deploy the galactic militia and declare martial law.
Yes, sir. What should I pay them with? Their payment is the honor they'll feel to serve their... Wait, who's paying me to yell at this guy?
And you see that? Yeah, again, it's a cartoon, but there's some truth to it. You know what I'm saying? They're pretty much curtailing you into believing that, just being a part of just being able to serve the system, should be, all that makes you happy. You understand what I'm saying? Like they're pushing that without really saying it.
Give me your jacket! Give me those...
The creation of a CBDC would give them the technological power to do exactly that. If the government wanted to encourage spending, they could airdrop some dollars in our bank accounts instantaneously, which sounds nice. But if they want to discourage saving, with the flick of a switch, the money could have an expiration date, which is exactly what China did to encourage spending. Now, if all of
you see that? And that was the whole thing. Was that a couple years ago? A couple of politicians was complaining that all that extra 200, all the the stimulus checks, and the extra $600 folks was getting from unemployment. Yeah, sure. There was a lot of folks that was pissing the money away, but there was other folks that they was. You know what I'm saying? Like they was holding on to that money, saving it for a rainy day or saving it for, when things get tight. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of politicians, I think, in the House of Representatives and in the Senate was both complaining, man, like, yo, a lot of people ain't spending. You know what I'm saying? Because they was suspending, they was expecting you that they give you the stimmy check. And you're supposed to be like, pew, be off to the races, ready to spend it all up. And that when they see that a lot of folks wasn't doing that, you know what I'm saying, they got upset about it. So now with this program, they can actually put a time limit. Okay, here's this $1,200 stimmy check, for, and was an extra, was that like, how much ever for you and your kids? Okay, we're gonna give you 90 days to spend that bread. So don't even think of, I'm just gonna save this. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just save this till like the end of the year and use it to move my family to a better place. Ain't gonna be none of that no more. So now the government's gonna put time limits on any money they give you, like a stimulus check. They're gonna give you time or the what's that thing from that was started by Mitt Romney, the child tax credit, like that. You know what I'm saying? $300 for every child under 6, and $250 for every child over 6, but under 18. You know what I'm saying? If they decide to do another one of those. And I believe that was another one that the politicians were complaining that, a lot of folks, they wasn't running off and just spend. Some of them was being smart about it and just kept the money, just kept the money in tuck, and just like, okay, for bills, for food, okay, I got like a G saved up. So in the case where, the prices go up, or you know what I'm saying, God forbid I get laid off or something like that, at least I got a few dollars to hold us down until, you know what I'm saying? So now they're trying to do away with all of that. Again, Big Brother is about to control a lot of our lives. But again, that's not even the worst part about all this shit. Now let me run that back and play it again. We almost done. We at the almost a 10-minute mark, and the video is 13 minutes long. So we almost done. Again, fair use, fair use.
Instantaneously, which sounds nice. But if they want to discourage saving, with the flick of a switch, the money could have an expiration date, which is exactly what China did to encourage spending. Now, if all of this stuff sounds like a conspiracy theory, you don't have to look at China for that to happen, because all governments can abuse power, including the US. Because on April 5th, 1933,
especially the US. Especially the US. Fair use, fair use.
this happened.
If you have $2,500 or more in savings, then I urge you to listen to this message, as it could be extreme.
All right, pardon me for the constant rewinded.
Who's paying me to yell at this guy?
Give me your jacket! Give me those pants!
The creation of a CBDC would give them the technological power to do exactly that. If the government wanted to encourage spending, they could airdrop some dollars in our bank accounts instantaneously, which sounds nice. But if they want to discourage saving, with the flick of a switch, the money could have an expiration date, which is exactly what China did to encourage spending. Now, if all of this stuff sounds like a conspiracy theory, you don't have to look at China for that to happen, because all governments can abuse power, including the US. Because on April 5th, 1933, this happened. This was a decree issued by Franklin Roosevelt, which gave US citizens 1 month to give up their claims to gold, including coins, bullion, and certificates. Everything was confiscated and had to be returned back to the Federal Reserve. But that's not...
You see that? You see that? Now, see, that happened back in 1933. Now, what, 90 years later, who's to say they won't be able to do that again? You know what I'm saying? And back then, it might be give up your gold coins, your gold billions. This year, you know what I'm saying? Now it could be give up your guns. Some people who might have invested in gold or silver, it might be give up your gold or silver. You understand what I'm saying? And which might be another thing. You know what I'm saying? You get your money, that program rolls out, you get your money, you decide, you know what, let me invest in gold, let me invest in silver. Guess what? Now you got the government watching like, this nigga bought like 20 gold, 20 silver coins. Okay, I got him. You know what I'm saying? So now you got the government all in your business now. Let's continue.
Not even the crazy part. The crazy part is the people that did not agree to do this faced 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 per year in fines. Now, just for context, but if they want to
let's run that back. Let's run that back, which I already did.
Discourage saving, with the flick of a switch, the money could have an expiration date, which is exactly what China did to encourage spending. Now, if all of this stuff sounds like a conspiracy theory, you don't have to look at China for that to happen, because all governments can abuse power, including the US. Because on April 5th, 1933, this happened. This was a decree issued by Franklin Roosevelt.
And see, there's a question I want to ask. How many of us was taught this in school? I wasn't. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Was that President Roosevelt said, you have 1 month to surrender all your gold coins, gold bullions, gold certificates. Because remember, back then, the paper dollar, it had like a golden like seal around the edge, and it's like well, at least for the higher dollars, like 20, 50, 100, and it's like it was worth a certain percentage in gold. A certain like a small, maybe like half an ounce or a small like quarter ounce of gold. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you was able to, back then you was able to exchange it and get your bread in gold. Exchange your money and get gold. You know what I'm saying? But again, how many of us knew about this back then? You know, I sure didn't. Now again, this one of oh wow, Thane Mithra. Hey, salute, brother, salute. How you doing? Got the great Thane Mithra from the Lead Attorney channel on my channel. Man, I'm honored. Again, if you guys like the content, please like, share, and subscribe. You know what I'm saying, brother? Brother Nakam, you got it. He said, just like the red deposit, yeah. And he said, damn, if you don't use it, if you don't use it, lose it. Own nothing, be happy. Yeah, exactly. That is the ultimate end game of this whole system. You know what I'm saying? All right, now, let me go through. Let's finish this up, and I'm just giving my
Roosevelt, which gave U.S. citizens 1 month to give up their claims to gold, including coins, bullion, and certificates. Everything was confiscated and had to be returned back to the Federal Reserve. But that's not even the crazy part. The crazy part is the people that did not agree to do this faced 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 per year in fines. Now, just for context, back in
That's insane. And 1930 was at 1933. 10 racks was a whole lot of money. 10 racks was probably like 100 or maybe even a million back then. Who knows?
33, that $10,000 represented over 3 times what the average person made in a single year. So that would be like if today the government told us to turn in all our cash or risk being fined over $180,000 per year. Now you might be thinking the government would never repeat the same mistake from 1933. And you might be right, but you don't have to look very far in history to look for clues on abuse of power. Between 2010 and 2012, the IRS prioritized conservatives and eventually apologized for unfairly targeting them for tax evasion. This naturally happens when power has an agenda.
Whoa. The IRS apologized for purposely targeting conservatives. Now, again, who's to say they're not doing this again? Who's to say they're not doing this again? You know what I'm saying? And instead of, and you know, it may not be the conservatives back then. It might be the conservatives now. You know, who might, you know, the conservatives who might not be with that. You know, hey, you know, that agenda. You know what I'm saying? The conservatives that not with that whole, you know, trans gentleman reading, you know, having story time with your kids. You know what I'm saying? So who's to say they're not on that type of time again? Remember, President Biden hired, was it like 80,000 new IRS agents? You know what I'm saying? Now, yeah, sure, they starved off the whole, you know, auditing people and stuff like that. Yeah, but understand this, it's coming. It is coming. All right, let's continue.
And the technological ability to actually enforce it. So the question we have to ask ourselves is it worth the risk? So here's my personal opinion. Let me just channel my inner Warren Buffett for just a second, because even though it's 2023, it's starting to feel a lot more like 1984. You know what I mean? No, you wouldn't, because it's just like me, a really old reference. So I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything, because I don't know if I fully understand this stuff myself, because it is so complicated. But from my point of view, I don't think this is a fight against cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin. I don't think the government cares. Nor do I think this is a fight against consumers. And I don't think consumers care. When was the last time you got a Venmo payment from a friend and thought, this better settle now? Said no one ever. If anything, this is about commerce on a global scale. This is the way for the Federal Reserve to combine what the government is good at, which is trust in its currency system, something it had a lot more of in the past, and combining it with the innovation from the private banking sector. Because hopefully by combining the two, they can create an innovative financial product that allows the US to stay ahead on the global stage. The byproduct.
Yeah, that on his face, that's mainly the main reason for that. That, you know, the U.S. government wants to remain on top. You know, as far as, you know, having the highest, having their money being worth the most around the world, and on his face is that. But on the underside of it, there's a whole lot of sinister things that they got coming down the pike. Like again, no more doing off the workbooks thinking that the government not going to find out about it. You know what I'm saying? So let's continue.
Product of which happens to be full control. But it's also not a tool that the government needed to add to its toolbox. It's got plenty of those. But still, regardless of how much people oppose the idea of CBDCs, I think they're inevitable. As countries around the world launch their own, the US won't want to be left behind. Even the World Economic Forum have told us that if the central banks don't innovate, they'll be left behind and lose the idea of money and trust and, quote, control. So it makes sense why they have to innovate. But does that mean you should sell your dollars and buy some Bitcoin? Probably not. I don't think it's going to be that bad. But I still am just a little bit as a hedge. And that's just me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to grab your free stocks. Links are down below, and then go track them automatically with the spreadsheet link down below in my Patreon. Love you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you back here on Monday, Friday, sometimes a Wednesday. See you soon. Bye-bye.
All right, we finally got to the video. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man. There's a whole lot to take in, man. It's a whole lot to take in. And it's like, where can you start? Dave Mitchell said, check my Cash App. All right, give me a minute. And wait, hold up. Gotta go. I'll catch you on the replay, gang. All right, no problem, man. Take care. Brother Thane, thank you. All right, Brother Thane Mitchell, thank you for the $50 on the Cash App and all praises. Most I bless you. You know, again, listen, man, understand this, man. This whole thing with this money, with this system, is going to be off the chain. You know what I'm saying? Listen, again, me, honestly speaking, here's my take on this. This is pretty much the prelude to the MOTB. You know what I'm saying? I mean, some of us, most of us should know what it is, but I'm trying not to say it because, for some reason, at least from the GMS camp, that they, to their understanding, that's now one of the quote unquote banned words on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? The mark of the you know what. You understand what I'm saying? To me, this is all a prelude. You know what I'm saying? This digitalized currency system that's starting in the US, and eventually they're going to take it all around the world. You know what I'm saying? So you got that. That's one. Number two, they're going to make it where it's very hard for you to hide. It may be very hard to you to hide any money because again, like I said, yeah, it's going to be, an optional thing when they first roll it out, but eventually, maybe not next year, maybe not 2025, but down the line, they're going to make it where it's either A, mandatory, or B, where you pretty much can't do anything as far as money transferring anything unless you mess with that Fed cap, that Fed now. You know what I'm saying? Again, because they know if they force it on people like that, a lot of people gonna rebel, like, nah, who you think you are? Why I gotta do all that? But if you, give it an option, let 100 people try it. A lot, people gonna like it. They're gonna tell their friends, yo, you heard about this program? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, try it. And their friends gonna try it, and then they like it too. And then you know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. And that's how eventually you're going to pull people in. Kind of like with Cash App. And Cash App, they didn't just throw it on everybody. Cash App, you know what I'm saying? They rolled it out. A few people tested, tried it out. They liked it. And they told their people and put them on. And I'm gonna give a moment of transparency and honesty. You wanna know who put me on the Cash App? My wife. She put me on the Cash App. I didn't know what it was. I didn't never heard of it or anything. And then when she told me about it, I tried it. Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, find out the Israelite brothers in the camp down in, you know, they got it too, and then they got it too, and they got it too, and next thing you know, it's like it's a whole network of people dealing with Cash App. That's going to be the same avenue they're going to do with this. They're not going to force it on people. They're just going to let the testers try it out. The testers tell their friends, and their friends going to tell their friends, and next thing you know, within a year or two, you got this huge network of this program. But yeah, you know, yeah, it's cool. It's going to be just as fast as Cash App and whatnot. But again, it's going to be a lot of dark sides to it. Number one, you can't hide your bread. So if you think you're going to do side jobs on the low, you know what I'm saying, and think you can hide from the federal government, that's one. Number two, like I said in the video, what if the U.S. takes a page from China's book? Because remember, China is going to institute time limits that you have to spend this bread, or else you lose it. Which I could very much see happening with the U.S. because around, was it 2020, 2021, you had U.S. politicians in the House and in the Senate that they was complaining, and I think that Yertle the Turtle looking punk, Mitch McConnell, was one of them. I think, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That they was complaining that all that stimulus money they was giving to folks, and that child tax credit that was started by Mitt Romney and a couple of others, where if you had a child, it's $300 per child under 6, and $250 per child that's over 6 but under 18. You know what I'm saying? They was complaining that folks wasn't spending it fast enough because they was expecting, in order to boost economy during COVID, that they're supposed to give you this bread and you're supposed to go pew and go spend. Yeah, when they saw that wasn't happening, yeah, folks were spending, but other folks was like, yeah, let me just tuck this money in the cut just in case. But Zakaria, shalom, shalom. Yahweh Shem Yahshua, Brakathum. Again, thank you, Mithra. If you're still in there, what's the name? The Wild for Cash App, most I bless you. Brother Come God, if you're still in there, most I bless you too. Again, let me continue. Listen, man. Who's to say that the United States may not be able to take a page from, you know what I'm saying, from China? You know what I'm saying? So now with that, and see, again, that's how they reel you in. They reel you in. You know, if the government want to send you bread, guess what? You know, like send you a stimmy or tax, say you get tax money back. Now you don't have to wait until the check gets to your house or whatever. Now, you know, it'll be airdrop immediately. So now if they want to airdrop you some bread, if they want to do another stimulus, they can airdrop you that. Well, guess what? Now you got 90 days suspended. So it ain't no more, you know, because again, like when people was getting stimulus checks and the child tax credit, a lot of folks was holding on to that money, you know, just in case, you know, things, you know, just in case they back against the wall. Some use it to pay off the bills. Some they held on to it, you know, for, you know, to make sure they got enough food in the fridge. Some folks, you know, stack their chips and use it to move. Some folks used it and probably invest in the business. So now the government trying to cut all that out. You know what I'm saying? Now they want you to be pretty much wasteful spenders, perpetual spenders. Listen, let me scroll out to brother Nakam God. Nakam God, like what he said. Damn if you don't use it, you lose it. Owe nothing and be happy. Yeah, that's exactly how the government wants you to be. That had to be a bunch of perpetual spenders where you just gonna spend, and you're not gonna own anything of substance. Because if you own anything of substance, guess what? You gotta save. You see the trick bag? You see the trick bag? If you try to save up to buy a house, save up to buy property. You know what I'm saying? Save up for something that's gonna bring you money in the long run. Save up to open a business. Guess what? What's the key word? You have to save. You have to hold on to the money that you get. You understand what I'm saying? So that's where they at. But again, like I said, I honestly believe that their form, that this is the MOTB, and this is the MOTB in the early phases. You understand what I'm saying? And again, I believe that digital ID that the gentleman was talking about, on how the digital ID that the gentleman was talking about, on how everyone gonna have their own identical thing. It might be a number. He might be right. It might be a number. But me personally, I think the digital your unique identity that everyone's gonna have is your fingerprint. Again, like I said, everybody has a unique fingerprint. I believe even twins. Two people that's born twins, they have their own identical fingerprint. No two people have the same fingerprint. And again, now with these modern phones, these modern technology, everybody use the fingerprint, to log in, to log in the phone, and especially to log in to like CashApp or other, other, electronic stuff. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. Had my phone ring. My phone rang. Obviously someone had to call me while live streaming. But again, this is I believe this is a prelude to the mark. You know what I'm saying, brother? Elder Zaab, Shalom, Mosai bless you, Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, brother Thumb. I believe that this is a prelude to the mark, because now it gets it's a centralized, digital currency that's going to get everybody from. It's a central digitalized currency that's going to first start out in the States and eventually go across the world. And that other countries are doing their own version of it too. You know what I'm saying? Zachariah said, biometric scan device. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Now with these modern day phones, listen, I'm going to show you right now. Let me see. Let me get this out the way. Yeah, you see that? Well, this is my old phone. Like, you see that? That's the AT&T symbol, but you have to put your fingerprint to get in. You know what I'm saying? And now cash, like banking apps and Cash App and stuff like that, they have the option where if you want to, to make sure that no one hacks your joint, to use your thumbprint. You know what I'm saying? To co-sign any and all electronic transactions. That's the first step. But ultimately, the final step, the end game is, you know what I'm saying? Get that CHIP, get that chip. So let me get to my first scripture. Slakia for talking you guys ears off, just trying to get into this whole thing and to show how really diabolical this thing really is, and what I see the end game of this thing is. So this is Revelations 13, starting at hold up, verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, both rich and poor, free and bond, to receive the mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast and the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him have understanding. Count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I believe that's the end game of this whole thing is. You know what I'm saying? You know, it goes from paper money to digitalized money, and more they're moving to the digitalized money, you know, every day. Which means there's gonna come a time where that paper money is gonna be gone. You know what I'm saying? That paper money is gonna be out of here. And once the money is digital, guess what? The government got you in their crutches. So now they can make you do whatever you want, whatever they want. And it's like, if you don't follow suit, if you don't play ball, guess what? Your money gets cut. Again, the whole situation that happened in Canada with the trucker protests. I think they was protesting. Forgot what I want to say. It was protesting about, like the gun control or something like that. I'm not sure, but there was a lot of the truckers, you know, that was driving them 18 wheelers and stuff. You know, they parked their trucks and they was protesting, you know, about something. And what this government was Prime Minister Justin Trudeau does. He have, you know, for the truckers that was Canadian citizens, had all their bank accounts froze. And for the people who was sending them CashApp or PayPal to make sure they was good, to make sure they, you know, they're able to continue protest and hope to get the government to you know what I'm saying, to fall back and like, you know what, you guys are right, we'll do things your way. Those people got their accounts frozen too. So now, you know, with this whole thing, this whole digitalized dollar is pretty much a form of government control, which is going to lead to the one world government, which is going to lead to the MOTB. Let me read it again. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell, save he who had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him have understanding. Count the number of the beast, for it's a number of a man, and his number is 666. You know what I'm saying? So that's it, man. I said, Brother Zal said, BRICS country using Chinese yuan as central currency. The U.S. is finished, so perfect timing to push the Fed now. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And I was just saying that I think before you came on, was that a lot of folks you know I would say that that this whole Fed now thing is a way to like kind of to still compete with China and with the BRICS nations, and because you know the American government, like the money is falling. The money is falling. So like this, like the only way that they could find that they could still compete. You know what I'm saying? It was that that yuan thing with the Fed now. All right, let me do that one last scripture. Anybody if anybody want to come up, I'm gonna say Khan. I'm just trying to find a way to post the link to the chat. Let me see. Slack it. Okay, let me. But again, y'all, this is hope you guys are ready, man, because this thing is coming in. Was it? Well, now, in this month, they're fine. For those of you who came late, I read the article on the Federal Reserve website, and I'm gonna post it in the link in the description box after the stream. That a month ago was when they formally announced it on their website, and that around the first week, same week as the founder of Cash App, coincidentally got deleted. That's supposed to be the week where they start picking out, who's gonna, volunteer to try this program, because the people who want to volunteer to try the program out, and like the investors or the people interested in stuff like that, they have to go through some kind of like a formal training, which gonna last maybe like a month or a couple months or so, and that by June, that's when they're gonna test it out, and by July, that's when they start rolling it out. You know what I'm saying? So notice all this stuff just happened right after the owner for Cash App died. And when you read about was it Bob Lee? Like, he really was a genius and was really ahead of his time. You know what I'm saying? And that right before he died, he was working with the owner of this crypto company called, damn, I forgot what it was, but he was working with the owner of this cryptocurrency company. I guess was trying to take the money digital, as well. You know what I'm saying? So magically he gets deleted, and now the government make a formal announcement of this thing popping out. All right, let me get my second scripture, Second Ezra's. Second Ezra's, the 8th chapter and 50th verse. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they walk in great pride. So yeah, listen, man, there's going to be a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a lot of miseries that's going to be affecting the folks that's not following the Most High, that's not aware of what's going on in current events. Because remember, Hamashiach Yahushua said, watch as well as pray. You know what I'm saying? You got to watch to stay ahead of current events, what's going on. You see the troubles, you see things are getting worse, and that you got to pray, for that you don't fall into temptation. That when the time comes, you won't cave, you know what I'm saying, and let the government run all over you. You know what I'm saying? Because again, with this whole system, this whole FedNow system, it's gonna be a voluntary thing. But after a while, they're gonna make it out of A, mandatory, or B, you pretty much can't do nothing unless you sign up for it. You know what I'm saying? So let me read that again. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. You know what I'm saying? Number 31. But understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. For unto you paradise is open, the tree of life is planted, the time to come is prepared, plenteousness is made ready, a city built, and the rest is allowed, yea, perfect goodness and wisdom. It said the root of evil is sealed up from you, weakness and the moth is hid from you, and corruption is fled into hell to be forgotten. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So that right there lets you know that, listen, if you do right by the Most High gonna protect you. If not, you're gonna be out here with these knuckleheads or with these sheep, pretty much getting jacked up. You know what I'm saying? So that's just it. It's like almost an hour and a half. Talk you guys there off. Hope you guys was edified. Please like, share, subscribe. Share this video. Tell a friend. You know what I'm saying? Just wanna let me just get one more scripture to encourage folks. You know, just keep your head up. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, understand this, you know, as you know, as time progresses, life is gonna be harder for all of us. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, what's that? Isaiah, matter of fact, let me get that. Let me get that. Let me get that. Boop, boop. Isaiah 33:6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, the strength of salvation, the fear of the Lord is his treasure. You know what I'm saying? So listen, the wisdom and knowledge of the Most High is going to be the stability of our times. So as you see things getting crazy, systems changing in and changing out and stuff like that, the wisdom of the Most High is going to preserve us through all of this. So for those of us, including myself, we need to start, you know, getting ourselves right with the Most High, to fast as well as pray. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that, you know, that when the time comes when, you know, the MOTB does get implemented, that we'll know what to do. You understand what I'm saying? Again, I'm gonna close it by saying, I, Shamal Kasada, honestly believe that this Fed now thing is a prelude to the MOTB. There's many, you know, and that it has many big brother components that, you know, that was explained in that video that I just shared by Andrei Jikh. I'm gonna post that video too, and that there might be some more things coming down the pike that might be a part of that program that a lot of folks is not going to find out until they into it. But again, I, Shaman Kassad, I honestly believe that this program is a prelude to MOTB. You know what I'm saying? Watch and pray, Akim. Zach, Revelations 2:10. Let's get that. Let's get that. I'm gonna close on that. Yes, sir. Let's get it. Oh, wait. Revelations 2, verse 10. Fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that you may be tried, and you shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit said to the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death. Now, see, that's powerful. Do I Zach for that scripture? Yeah, listen, that's coming. That's coming. You know what I'm saying? In the video that I showed earlier in the stream, that the gentleman was said that the IRS is going to soon have it where you don't have to even file your taxes anymore. They will already know how much you make and just send you a bill. You know what I'm saying? Which means that they've been monitoring all your financial transactions. Meaning no more working off the books, you know what I'm saying? No more side jobs, none of that. And on top of that, you know what I'm saying? They're going to be monitoring what you buy. So they see you, oh, brother Zach just bought a shotgun? Okay, let me make note of that. Oh, Zab just bought a bow and arrow? You know what I'm saying? So as you see now with this whole, this whole thing with the gun debates, where they pretty much mandating everyone to give up all their guns and stuff like that, or oh, guns are bad, guns are evil, blah blah blah. It's going to get to the point where if the government really want to push that on you, they can really force folks to give up their guns. And on top of that, last but not least, I'm gonna close with this. I honestly believe that part of this new FedNow system, right as it leads up to the MOTB, a lot of folks are gonna get censored. Again in the video, the gentleman said that the IRS had to give a formal apology for targeting conservatives back in 2012. Now they're going to the new target is going to be not the conservatives as far as political, but conservatives as far as values. You know what I'm saying? So you're not with this gay stuff. You're not with the transgenders reading to your children. You're not with this whole. Your 5-year-old son could talk about he want to become a girl now, and now these schools have it where the kids don't even have to tell you. All they got to do is tell the school nurse, and the nurse will put everything in, and that they could get it done without your consent. Now they have it where if you was to buck up against that, they're gonna come after you. Watch, mark my words. They're gonna make it where if you buck up against those stuff, they're gonna come after you. And what's the first way they could come after you? That system, the FedNow. They could silence you. They could cut your money. Okay, you got 10,000 saved up. Okay, now you don't have anything. That's a new bill they're trying to pass, the Restrict Act 686. I'm gonna look into that. What is that, Zakaya? And I'm gonna do another video after this. I'm gonna just keep it short and sweet. This new thing now with the FBI is considering, quote unquote, red pill content as extremists. You understand what I'm saying? So like if you a man and you're not, if you're not trying to lay down and get down with the feminism in this society and all that, now you got the IRS, the FBI labeling you an extremist. This is all what's coming down the pike, y'all. But that's just it. It's an hour and 37 minutes. I talked you guys here off enough. It's your brother Shamal Al-Qassad. So I'm giving all thanks to Abanaw Yahweh, Ba'ashim Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Hope you guys are edified. I'm gonna start end my lives with this prayer. May the Most High watch between me and thee while we're absent, one from another. Amen. All right, y'all. The water for watching. Be safe out there. Shalom.